everybody, and welcome back to the I Don't Know Running podcast, where we share our experiences that make running fun and sometimes not so fun. I'm Lewis, and I'm a self-admitted lazy ultra runner.
I'm Mitch, and I am going to have to relearn how to run.
Yeah, you are.
Not yet.
No, you got to learn how to walk before you can run.
Right.
Yeah. Isn't that what they say? You're learning the crawl. You're in the crawl phase right now.
I am in the crawl phase.
Definitely getting a handle on that.
How did I get down here?
You slid down. I think you're crawling back up.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Oh, my goodness. Well, in the last episode, we talked about a bunch of world records. And this episode, we're going to teach you how to get there.
Yeah. Because it is, if you're listening to us, it is possible for you to get a world record. It might not be a running world record, but it'll be something.
I saw a world record for, oh my gosh, talk about rabbit holes you go down. I don't know how I got here. There was some guy, I think it was on some talent show actually. He taped, I don't even know what it was, to like his midsection. And it was this knife looking thing coming out of his midsection. It wasn't a knife, but he literally stacked up, I think, 10 or 20, what do you call the things you get at poker chips. And he put a bottle upside down on top, like a Coke bottle upside down on top. And he was going foom, 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 back and forth with his midsection, knocking the bottom one out. And it was a world record. So that's the kind of world record you can get listening to this podcast.
You know, Nicole talked about dressing up. Like we needed to try things to run a marathon as a group and go for that. We should.
The big one out over in London. Is it London?
Well, that's where a lot of them where it's tried a lot of times. You can do it anywhere.
Well, but that's the one where Guinness shows up to it, right?
Maybe.
It's one of the ones.
But what was the one that she wanted to do? Like the longest connected caterpillar or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like it'd suck.
That does sound, yeah.
What if somebody's got to use the bathroom?
You all got to go, I guess. Because it's time, too. You got to beat the time.
Well,
right?
I mean, it depends. I mean, if you have 15 people,
you just keep adding. Oh, somebody's already got the 12. Let's do the 13.
Yeah.
Pretty soon you got like a 50-person caterpillar.
How long before you start, like, so you're just carrying certain people, you know? Like
you could set the caterpillar and slinky one at the same time if you had too mmany people.
That's how I could run the next marathon is you and Nicole dress up. We'll dress up as a caterpillar. I'll be in the middle. It'll be fun.
Well, I don't understand.
I'm not running.
I know. That's what I'm not sure I'm following you. So we're carrying you.
I'm going to scoot once in a while.
We could do the what do you call it? Gurney? What do you call it when you put somebody on?
Oh, like a hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a bed. What do you call those things you carry though? Or better yet, we'd push you on a gurney, like on a like we don't want to hold, we don't want to carry you.
Yeah.
We wouldn't make the finish.
I wonder if anybody's ever done that.
We could wear like doctor's gowns or surgeon's gowns. We could deck it out.
Riverbank this year.
We could cut you open. No, not too far.
I'm already cut open.
Too far?
Too far. We could fake cut me open.
Okay. Some ketchup. We probably do it quick, and then it'll look really good.
Yeah.
If we do it, maybe this spring.
I
don't know if I'm ready for a marathon. Can we do it for like a 5K?
25K.
25K, yeah.
We'll go with my team Triumph at the same time.
I don't know. It feels a little dirty.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I won't be running yet.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to how we're going to get people to records.
Oh, yeah.
These are going to be...
Or how about just to start?
Yeah, true. This is a how-to for running techniques for beginners.
Yeah.
These are very broad, high level, just something to think about as you're starting your journey. In the first few episodes of the year, if you go back a little bit, we talked about a lot of beginner stages, like how do I start? How do I start running? How do I start training for a marathon? How do I get through a marathon without training?
That's my favorite. It's
Yeah.
just jump into, you're not going to train anyway,
Yeah.
just run.
Yeah.
But this is it. I mean, this is true.
Yeah.
How hard is it to run? You run.
You do run.
And you just get started. And once you get started and you start realizing it's like, what am I doing wrong?
There are a lot of things that can help you to do it better.
Right. That could make it more enjoyable.
More
Really.
enjoyable, less difficult. Let's face it. These are going to help you do it a little better. And the thing of it is, all of these things, if you're sitting here listening, like I just did, going through the list, and I did this, and I went, oh, that does feel better.
Yeah.
Just sitting here, much less running.
Mhm.
And I know for a few of these doing, especially when you start doing long distance, I would say even half marathon and up. So like if we're talking to 5Kers, 10Kers, totally get it.
I'd even say 10K if you're a beginner.
True.
Some of these things can really help you
Yeah, true.
in a 10K because you got to remember to, like simple things like breathing.
Yeah, I just read something on this. I just read I watched a video of there is a technique to breathing for running. It helps.
I'll have to learn that one.
Maybe we'll do that in the next episode.
Or
Talk about it.
We'll try it. I'll try it on my
Teach you
scooter.
how to breathe.
I'll try it on my scooter.
It'll be nothing but we'll see how many listens we get.
We'll just do that one for comments.
For 30 minutes. That's the episode.
And then the only way you're going to learn anything from that is by commenting and we'll respond.
That is not this episode. This episode is running techniques for beginners.
You can still comment.
Still comment.
And subscribe.
Let's start with, and subscribe. Oh yeah, there you go. Like, subscribe, share this with somebody.
It didn't even seem awkward. It didn't even seem awkward trying to roll into
We
that.
didn't even try that. It just happened.
It did, naturally.
All right, upper body. Let's jump in. We are going to talk about, again, these are some techniques for beginners in running. These are some things that you can do to help just make things feel a little bit better as you run and as you progress. Let's start with the upper body. The head. It says keep it aligned with your spine looking straight ahead. Pretty simple.
Pretty straightforward. I do know, and again, that's where you said, talking about longer distances. When you get in the later miles, when you start getting lazy, you have to remember this. Like if you're looking at the ground,
your head is heavy. It's like 13 pounds.
Yeah.
It is. I think the human head is, I don't know where that comes from. I could be way off on that. Go ahead. You go ahead and say what you're going to say.
No, but to remember to pick your head up and look up is going to make you feel that much better. Is it like 8 pounds?
8 pounds. Yours is 13.
Because you got a big head.
You got a big head. No. Yeah, exactly. Because I find myself doing that, especially in the longer races. Mm-hmm. Everything starts to go forward. And a lot of these things are going to bring us back and straighten up.
And you talk about that marathon shuffle, and it is. It's that one of those things is just looking down instead of looking at like
out.
You need to look at what's coming, like a long ways out. You got to stop looking at the ground.
Yep.
It's hard to do in a trail race.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can keep your head up, but you need to pay attention to where your feet are going for sure. Head, shoulders relaxed and back, not hunched forward. Do you know anybody like that?
I do. I'm going to call him out. Eric. He is the worst. He looks like
Go ahead.
He looks like Rocky.
I was just going to say that. He looks like Rocky.
And he does this.
Philadelphia going up the stairs.
And he's got his arms way down and he's like almost bent over at the waist looking at the ground. And the further along he gets in distance, like when you're doing a 20-miler, his nose is almost touching the ground.
That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad.
But I will run next to him and I'll smack him in the chest. I'll be like, straighten up.
Yeah, I know.
Pull your arms back. Like, how do you breathe? You're like restricting your lungs.
Yeah, the times I've ran with him, I've thought exactly that. He even wears like a sweatshirt. I think he watched Rocky for his run training.
Yeah, and he wears all cotton when he runs too. He doesn't wear anything waist or wicking.
Yeah. Surprised he's not like hitting a slab of beef on the way to running or the way back.
You should suggest
Proper
it.
Rocky training.
Should suggest it. And he'll probably do it.
Good thing he's not a talker or anything.
He is. Yeah.
So yeah, relax and back, not hunched forward. Keep the shoulders back. And as you're sitting here again, do that. Feel that. It feels a lot better. Arms swinging naturally at your sides with a slight bend at the elbows. I know a lot of people hear this and go, whatever. It makes a difference. You carry your arms high and you're going to feel a real difference versus more low, more just a slight bend.
I have a friend that I've run with for years. I haven't run with him lately, but when I first started running, he runs like this. And you can always tell, like how you can pick somebody out coming, but you can always, because he kind of skips on his toes and he's got his arms way up high.
Yeah. It makes a big difference.
But Laura has done that to me and hit my hands to drop my hands down when she's running next to me to keep them. And it does. You're right. It makes a difference.
And if you do a marathon, well, any run, but I know when you start to get later in miles, let's say you're crossing 10 miles and up, and you've been running and not paying attention to it, take your arms and just do this. And I'm amazed at like, whoa, that's tight.
And even
you gotta shake,
even now, like you said, like opening up and what that feels like, you do that in a run when you're getting tired, especially again, longer distance runs. It could be in even a 10K. Just take your arms as you're running when you're feeling down and just open them up and pull back.
Yep.
And we're not talking about pros, we're talking about people like us.
But I will say, you look at like in the last episode, we talked about, who was it that broke the half marathon record? Shoot, can't think of it right now. The name.
I can't either right now. It was fast.
Shoot, it's right there. Anyway, doesn't matter. But if you look at him, he hits all of these. He doesn't have to do a lot of this stuff because it's already there, right? So he doesn't have to open up because his shoulders are back, his arms are slightly bent, even though they're up, but that's because there's a lot of speed to that. So, but a lot of this stuff, he's already got these at like the 9s. Like they are perfect. Not perfect, but they're there. They're very, very good.
Well, better than anybody else that's running a half.
He listened to our cues from the last episode to get there.
We told him how to break a world record.
We sent him this email prior to the race. He said, "Hey, you got to do this." All right, let's go to core and hips. Posture: maintain a neutral spine, not overly arched. I mean, that makes sense. And both ways, not just hunched forward, but also not like tipping over backwards either. Neutral.
Yeah.
Neutral spine. Hips. And this is a big one because this is one that I have felt later in a race when I'm tired. And when I've thought about it, because having Terrence on even, I've thought about like when he's talked about getting the hips in the proper alignment makes a big difference. And it just says, keep your hips stable and slightly forward. So keeping them slightly forward does make a difference. You have to kind of do it to understand like what that's doing. But just sit there and do that. Try to think about that as you're running and it will make a difference. Let's move on down. Legs and feet. We're going to talk about stride. Aim for a comfortable stride length, not too long and not too short.
Yeah, like as we know, shorter is not too short, but shorter is better. Like striding out is not your friend. It's going to hurt your knees. It's going to, it's going to do a lot of things. And when you stride out like that, you're putting the brakes on with every step.
Every step. Yeah. If you just think about like to accentuate it, to really drive home a point, like if you were to make a big, large step, you have to absorb that on that foot and then take off.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't do that. That's why you don't stride out. Yep. Foot strike. Land on the midfoot with a slight heel touch followed by a quick roll through of the foot.
Not everybody thinks that way. A lot of people are thinking toes, and I can't do toes.
Well, and I think there's a lot of but there's been a ton of research and data.
I drag my heel.
Well, yeah, I don't think that you have the best stride.
What?
But there are worse. There are worse.
Could be while I'm sitting here with a boot.
Yeah, well, maybe lots of years of doing that, I suppose. But the point is, speaking to some of these other things, you got to have your stride, and then you try to kind of get these things dialed in as close as possible. But there isn't this like run on your toes. That's the perfect way.
It's got to be comfortable for you. I don't care what
Yeah.
anybody says. You have to be comfortable.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, we're not talking about going out and breaking the marathon world record here.
Well, we are. If you break the marathon world record and you listen
better
to
give
us,
us credit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. But we're talking about trying to help
We're
people
smart.
that haven't run a lot be more comfortable with running. And so we're trying to get you closer to it.
And foot strike is something that you can learn.
Yeah.
So, like you got to be comfortable, but there are better techniques that you can, with reputation and, the effort, you can learn it.
Repetition, not reputation.
What,
I think you said reputation. I was like, what?
It's my
running reputation.
It's my West Michigan accent.
Maybe it was repetition. I just want to clarify. You don't have to have a reputation.
You probably do.
You're going to get one.
But we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, you're going to have a reputation as a
we don't judge here.
Mid or a heel striker like Mitch.
We don't judge.
No judgment. No judgment zone. All right, knee drive. Let's talk about the knee drive. Keep your knees slightly bent and aligned with your toes. And this is one that I find when I was really streaking. We have a lot of
what you do in your own time.
When I was seeking 180 steps per minute, strides per minute, this was one that came up a lot. The knee aligned with your toes, as you're.
It's wild. Like you watch videos of elite runners, but so watching Zach the last couple of years run Bayshore and him coming back the other way, watching that guy run,
it's nuts.
And how high how high his feet come off the ground.
Yeah.
And then you watch all the other people that are running that fast. You're like, oh, they don't shuffle.
Yeah. It's funny because the drive isn't forward as much as up with that knee, and that's keeping the foot underneath the knee.
Yeah.
And coming down more properly.
It is a thing of beauty to watch somebody run like that, though. And you look and it doesn't even look like they're trying. They're probably running a 10-minute mile.
That guy's walking a 6-minute mile.
Or twice as fast as that.
As we talked in the last episode. Yeah, if you haven't seen, you should go check out, I don't know that you would see it. They have a good website, though, of other things, A to Z Running. And, or just look up, I don't know if is A to Z Running. I'm trying to think of what his videos where he's racing are. Are they on A to Z or on they?
I don't know.
Are they on Zach Ripley?
I don't know.
But anyway, search Zach Ripley and or A to Z Running and watch some of his videos. It's a lot of fun seeing him run. Just keep those things in mind. And then some important points for beginners. These are just kind of an extension of what we just talked about. Start slow and gradually increase distance and pace. We've talked about that before. Makes sense.
Or just run a marathon.
Untrained. Yeah. One of those two.
We know you're going to do
somewhere in the middle.
We know you're going to do something dumb anyway. We're not suggesting you do that. It's just we know you're not going to be smart all the time.
Yeah. No suggestion. Just, warm up and cool down. That's a tough one. A lot of people, I don't like doing it.
No, it sucks.
But it is good for you to do. Mm-hmm. Helps prevent injuries.
Yeah, I'm learning that.
Yeah. Choose good running shoes. We've talked about that.
Shoes. You cannot, if you're going to spend money on anything, it's got to be shoes.
Yeah. Take the time, do it right, go to a local running store, proper, get fitted, and stick with it. Stick with a shoe that works for you. Don't worry about so much about the looks. You do want to feel good about your shoes, but you can find a shoe that both looks good and you like, or that fits you. And consider a running program, like a couch to a 5K or couch to 10K if you've already done the 5K or whatever. But find a program. There are so many programs out there. Hal Higdon, Hanson's are two that are wildly popular.
And I can't say that enough either. You can talk about a program, but join a running group. That's
True.
Another one.
Yeah, I would say that is about as important as any training plan.
Yeah. because misery loves company.
Yeah, and the training program is great. It's going to give you something to follow.
And if you join a group, somebody's probably done that program, and they can help. They can help you with that.
But you are going, and you are going to have. You're just having the support, having the entertainment of people being around you for whatever mile you're on. It's going to take your mind off. It's really going to help you. You're going to want to stay accountable to those people and that you're running with.
And they're enablers, or not really enablers as much as they're going to talk you into doing some races.
That's
a fact. Good stuff.
That's a fact. Yeah. If you want to progress in running, join a group and you will be 5K to marathon in no time.
Yep.
5K to marathon in a year. You'll do it. There are people that are out there doing that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, these are just some higher level things. Pay attention to these things in your beginning journey. We're talking to a lot of the beginners here and those that have never thought about this. You might have been running for 5 years and never really thought about some of these simple things that can help just open some things up for your breathing. It'll relax some things that are very tense. I know I can have a tendency to, if I get a little heavy in the head and I'm doing the look down thing, that puts a stress on my upper back and shoulders. And I can feel it. If I just let go and do some of these things, it feels so much better.
It carries through your whole body. Like it does. It makes you tired. It does. It affects everything.
Yeah. If you paid attention to these and instill these practices as I'm going to learn to run more efficiently, it's going to help you down the road because then it becomes very normal.
Yeah. And that the end of a race always sucks. But it makes it suck less. If you can follow some of that.
Yep. Instead of getting to mile 13 and feeling like crap, maybe you can get to mile 16 or 17 before you really start to feel down.
Right.
Crap. So, anyway, hope those help. But that's going to wrap this week's episode of the I Don't Know Running podcast. Be sure to tune in next time as we share more about what we just don't know.
Until then, happy running.